Do you ever get this feeling that you're living in like a double world? Like people going back and forth and doing the everyday thing and seem to not notice the madness in the world. And then you ask yourself, is the madness in the world just in my head? Have I been watching too much television? Have I watched too much internet? But then you notice that it's actually the television and the mainstream press that has governed the way people think, or the way people seem to think, the general consensus, the underlying narrative. There seems to be a theme in society. A theme of acting on television, acting. And it's hard to differentiate between what's real and that what's not real, or that what's staged, a hoax. We see events all round the world. Some pandemic, or some oil spill, or nuclear disaster, terror attack. And even the little events, the amok shootings and things we just coming up on the news and then questionable to many of us. And maybe it's just the fact that many people fear to question something that's so popular, on the news. Because maybe in turn that would imply that the news itself was knowingly trying to harm, when really the news is maybe just an institution that takes people's words for it, a corporation, a body of people. And as soon as you've got a body of people, as soon as you've got a group, a tribe, a family, corporation, a nation, as soon as we've got these groups of people, it's very difficult for that group to speak for itself. And wisdom is not necessarily found in an individual within the group. Sometimes the group needs to be observed to find the wisdom, to listen to everybody's point of view in order to find maybe where everybody's missing the point. And this double world, those of us who've been watching and studying and looking at, not mainstream, like alternative media and alternative literature, and reading and looking deeper into the mainstream, just to look deeper, without judgment, without conclusion, just to look at the signs, look at numbers, look at expressions from the news and from the media, from that what everybody else is seeing. And often while everybody's watching the main acting, there's a gorilla running around in the background, or something that everybody misses. And some of us, we see things that others don't. Some people are good with numbers, some are good with algebra, some are good with patterns and colours and emotions and all kinds of signals that come out of these things. And together, as we discuss these things, I think, on the internet, and to take into consideration what we might see as weird ideas, astrology, astronomy, and remote viewing and spirituality and aliens, to be so open-minded that we can actually have the mentality to think these things without having the need to believe. Believe is a long way. It's, you have to see something to believe it, even like in your mind. And so somewhere it seems like the truth lies halfway between the two worlds to me. It's like halfway between the normal world that I feel like I left. I just didn't want to go along with the mainstream attitude, if you like. Obviously, and I was starting speaking on videos and yeah, what am I doing? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to do? I'm sometimes losing track of whether things are really wrong or whether people want them that way, but I think as long as we've got television and mainstream and all of this media chaos giving people false deceptions of the world, making vanity above pain, money above lives of people. Essentially we become slaves to a system or slaves to ourselves. And so I don't think, by all means I'm not alone with feeling the storm wind of this system, whether it's a collapse or a compression or intensification. But a lot of people, they just don't want to let it show on their face, or they don't want to even exercise the idea that there's a different way of thinking about the world, and it's not like a big supermarket we're just born into where we can just buy our lives. We have to realise our dreams, each of us as individuals, what we really want, and not what we don't want, not what we're going to fight against, not what we need, but what we're passionate about. That what we need will determine things anyway. I need water, whether I want to play guitar forever in an armchair, I still need to get up to drink water. So those needs, they're going to be obvious anyway. Let's not worry about needs in that sense. What we want is something that we just seem to can't not be able to find. What do you want? What is your heart's desire? Because somehow that is food of life. And I just don't want all of this consumer society, this collectivism, this social attitude, the social perspective, the national hierarchy of things. It's time to grow up and man up and woman up and to say, okay, we're people of the earth, we're people of this planet, we're not little groups of people, and just because we speak different languages makes no difference whatsoever. We still communicate, we still interact. Still more to life than talking and words. Because I tell you, words are not the be-all and end-all. In fact, the most important words that you want to say to somebody won't happen. There's something almost like filters your words out when it's the most important things. You've probably noticed. That, you can have hours-long conversation and then you'll try and say something that's totally important to you and for some reason it seems invisible, or the doorbell will go, or, something will happen. I'm sure. So it's obviously gestures. I don't know what it is. It's not obviously anything, is it? Alright folks, I've just waffled on for enough. See you later.